Hatshepsut, His Majesty Herself, by Catherine A. M. Andronic. Becoming Pharaoh. Although Hatshepsut had been Thutmose II's great wife, he'd had other wives, including one named Isis. Isis had borne the pharaoh a baby boy who was also named Thutmose, like his father. He could grow up to be pharaoh if he married a princess of royal blood. Until Thutmose III was mature enough to be crowned pharaoh, what Egypt needed was a regent, an adult who could take control of the country. The regent would have to be someone familiar with palace life and protocol. He would need to conduct himself with the proper authority around the royal advisors. He should be prepared to wield power if it became necessary, and he should feel comfortable around visiting dignitaries from other lands. He needed to know his place among the priests of the various gods. It was a job Hatshepsut, perhaps just 15 years old, had been training for since her earliest days by her father's side. Women had acted as regents for infants at other times in Egypt's history, and the gods had not frowned upon them. So until Thutmose III was ready to be crowned as pharaoh, the active rule of Egypt would be his aunt, the royal widow of the king, Hatshepsut. At first, little Thutmose III was considered the pharaoh, with Hatshepsut just his second in command. But a small child could not be an effective ruler. As Hatshepsut settled into her role as regent, she gradually took on more and more of the royal decision-making. She appointed officials and advisors, dealt with priests, appeared in public ceremonies, first behind, then beside, and eventually in front of her nephew. Gradually, over 7 years, her power and influence grew. In the end, Hatshepsut was ruling Egypt in all but name. There is no reliable record of exactly when or how it happened, but at some point, Hatshepsut took a bold and unprecedented step. She had herself crowned pharaoh with the large, heavy red and white double crown of the two Egypts, north and south. There was no word in the language of ancient Egypt for a female ruler. A queen was simply the wife of the king. Hatshepsut had no choice. She had to call herself pharaoh, or king, a male title. She was concerned with preserving and continuing traditional order as much as possible, so to the people of Egypt she made herself look like a man in her role as pharaoh. In ceremonies she wore a man's short kilt instead of a woman's long dress, much as she had as a child. Around her neck she wore a king's broad collar. She even fastened a false golden beard to her chin. When she wrote about herself as pharaoh, sometimes she referred to herself as he, other times as she. This would be very confusing for historians trying to uncover her identity thousands of years later. Number 6. Part A. Select the statement that best explains why the author chose to include the heading, Becoming Pharaoh. A. To tell the readers that the passage teaches Egyptian children what to do if they want to become pharaoh. B. To help readers know that the passage talks about how difficult it is to become pharaoh. C. To show that the passage explains the reasons why Hatshepsut wanted to become pharaoh. D. To tell the readers that the passage is about how Hatshepsut became pharaoh. Number 7, Part B. How do paragraphs 1 through 4 help accomplish the author's purpose from Part A? A. They explain the circumstances that allowed Hatshepsut to start ruling as a regent. B. They describe the many challenges a pharaoh must overcome in order to be a good ruler. C. They tell the reader in chronological order the actions Hatshepsut took to be crowned pharaoh. D. They provide a list of tips and advice for young pharaohs who are learning how to lead. Number 8. In paragraph 5, the author uses transitional phrases such as at first, gradually, and in the end. How do these phrases add to the main idea of the passage? A. They help readers understand how Hatshepsut gained more and more power over time. B. They help communicate how long it took for Hatshepsut's nephew to grow up and become pharaoh. C. They organize in chronological order the decisions Hatshepsut made to solve Egypt's problems. D. They show Hatshepsut's changing feelings about being pharaoh. Number 9. according to the passage about how old was Hatshepsut when she began ruling as a regent? A. 5 years old. B. 15 years old. C. 30 years old. D. 40 years old. Number 10.
May I borrow the chair and then may I borrow that one?
Yeah.
I need to open the door, but then somebody locked inside.
Oh. Number 10. Look at the passage titled Hatshepsut, His Majesty Herself. Which of the following paragraphs best explain the reason why both words his and her are used to describe Hatshepsut? A. Paragraph 3. B. Paragraph 4. C. Paragraph 6. D. Paragraph 7.